Welcome to this OLA session number 13. Today is a special day for me. This is 100th birthday of my father, and therefore I dedicate this lecture to him, who was a great Shiva devotee. Let us start with a Shiva prayer. Nagendra haraya trilochanaya bhasmangaragaya maheshwaraya nityaya shuddhaya digambaraya tasmai nakaraya Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So as the topic declares, this is Vedic Rudra to Puranic Shiva. Through the folk literature, I will take you from the Vedic to Puranic and to the folk tradition of Rudra and Shiva. Let us start with the Vedic Rudra first. What does Vedic Rudra represent? What is the etymology of the Vedic Rudra? As it is very evident from the phonetic similarity, Rudra is the root in that. Rudra Rauti, that is to cry, to weep. In other sense, metaphorically, it will be meaning like to yell, to shout aloud, make very loud sound, So that is the meaning. Roruyamano Dravatiti Rudraha. He goes very quickly to his devotees, roaring very loudly. Rodayaterva, or it's a causal verb, he makes you weep. Why? Because basically, Rudra in the Vedic times is the stormy wind. He is not Shiva as we perceive him now from the Puranic times. He is the stormy wind that makes very loud sound, whirls speedily and makes others weep. And therefore the Maruts, who are the sons of Rudra, Maruts are the winds, who are the helpers, the assistants of Lord Indra. When we saw the lecture on Indra, we did see that. So they are called Rudriyaha, the sons of Rudra. Vedic Rudra received the remains of the sacrificial offering, says the Taittiriya and the other Upanishads and the Brahmanical literature, and therefore he is called Uchishtabhak or Vastavya. Bhagavata Purana states this to be the quality of Shiva, but otherwise this becomes the Vedic Rudra's epithet. Again, epithets of Rudra which are given in the Rigveda and especially Yajurveda's Vajasaniya Samhita are Kapardin, having a braided hair, Nilagriva or Nilakantha, having a blue neck, Krittivasa, having skin or bark of an animal as his attire, his dress, Ishana, Isha is to rule, so Ishana is a ruler, Ugra, he is very ferocious, Triambaka, he has 3 eyes, he is Mahadeva, the greatest of the gods. Now, if you see all these names, look at all these names, they are as good as synonyms which we are using for the Puranic Shiva. So this is the way, in which the Vedic Rudra could be connected with the Puranic Shiva. In the Vedic Rudra, in the Rudra Suktas, in the second Gritsamada Mandala, for example, we have a very beautiful Rudra Sukta 233. They are described, the Rudras, they are many in number. It's not only one deity, there are many gods called Rudras, and they are Hiranyarathaha. They move around in the golden chariots. Their bow is very strong and firm. They are called Sthiradhanva. Their arrows are very swift. Kshipraha, Ishavaha, Yesham te, Kshipreshuhu. Their weapons are also very strong. They have thousands of medicines with them. Sahasrabheshajaha. And Rudras wear gold ornaments. They are very fond of gold. In fact, they have a specially made, customized necklace for them, which has the name Nishka in the Rigveda. Now, Gritsamada in the second Sukta, second Mandala, as I said, 233, he refers to Rudras as Vishajam Vishaktama. They are the best amongst the physicians. Obviously, because they are endowed with Sahasrabheshaja, thousands of medicinal herbs they know. And there is again, though he is a very stormy god, very ferocious god, Gritsamada the seer asks him, Kvate Rudra Mridyakuhu Hastaha. Oh Rudra, where is that compassionate hand of yours? Now Mridyakuhu, it becomes Mridyakuhu in the Rigveda. It's because of a grammatical rule. Let's not go into that. But Rudra is asked to be Mrida, compassionate. And interestingly enough, Mrida becomes a synonym of Puranic Shiva, and his consort is known as Mridani. Parvati is known as Mridani. Now when we come to Yajurveda, from the Rigveda we come to Yajurveda. Yajurveda glorifies Rudra like anything. In the Rigveda, Indra is the highest deity, whereas in the Yajurveda, Rudra is like Ishana. He overwhelms and supersedes all other gods. Shukla Yajurveda, Vajasneya Samhita, 16th chapter is called Shatarudriya Samhita, and it prescribes almost 425 oblations with Namaka to Rudra. 18th chapter of the same Vajasneya Samhita is Vasordhara with Chamaka. Now Krishna Yajurveda, there are two parts of Yajurveda, we know, Krishna Yajurveda and Shukla Yajurveda. In Krishna Yajurveda, Taittiriya Samhita for example, also we have Namaka and Chamaka, the chapters are different. Namaka is the Nama, it enumerates the different names of Rudra, and Chamaka has various formula to temporal and spiritual blessings. To get temporal and spiritual blessings, there are used Chamakas. Now interestingly, there is a very good combination of Rudra, Shiva and Agni. We were seeing so far only Rudra and Shiva. Now where this Agni comes from? Yes, Agni also comes here. Rudra is born of Brahma's forehead from his wrath, and he cried the moment he was born, and therefore he is called Rudra. Rodanat Rudraha, as simple an etymology as that. Shatapada Brahmana invoked Agni as Sharva, Bhava, Pashupati. Obviously, they are the synonyms of Shiva. So there is an identification somewhat, starting right from the Shatapada Brahmana. Then Taittiriya Samhita, Rudra pervades fire, water, herbs, and all the three worlds like Agni pervades everything. Kurma Purana comes with a definite statement, and it identifies Rudra with Agni and names that deity as Rudragni, a combined dual divinity. And both are fiery in nature. We do have Tejastambhamaya Shivaha, and you must be remembering the concept of Jyotirlingas. Yes, I will come after some time to the Jyotirlinga aspect as well. And interestingly, again, Shiva's third eye is Agni. You all know the story, how Shiva burnt Kamadeva, Madana, with opening of his third eye, on which Kalidasa has written a beautiful poem like Kumara Sambhavam. So episode of Kamadeva, Kamadahana, and so Agni and Shiva being associated, being linked in some way or the other, that is found throughout. What are the Vedic rituals and mantras for the Rudra? We are tracking his journey from Vedas to Puranas and then to the folk literature. So Trambaka Yaga, in the Sakamedha Parva of Chaturmasya Parva, Taittiriya Brahmana mentions a yaga, a ritual, a sacrifice called Trambaka Yaga. Offerings are made to Rudra at crossroads, to the north, especially northern direction, and members in the family go around the fire uttering the mantra Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. Now this is a seasonal ritual. Chaturmasya Parva is a seasonal ritual, and why in that particular season, in Sharad Ritu? Eshavai Sharadi Bhuyishtham Hanti. Rudra kills profusely in this Sharad, in the autumn, and therefore to appease him, to pacify him, the yaga is performed in Sharad. And what is the Dakshina? The Dakshina is a white bull. The association of a bull with Shiva, which you find right from the Harappan days, the Pashupati seal, if you remember. So a white bull is offered as a Dakshina. Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam, that is the entire mantra, and this comes in the 7th mandala, which is composed by Vasishtha Rishi. We'll see a very interesting etiological justificatory myth or story, you can say, of the word Sugandhi sometime later. Then there are many Rudras. As I said, there is not a mention of only one single Rudra, Rudraha, and therefore Rudra Suktas in the Rigveda, Rudra Adhyaya also refers to Asankheyam Swamasmin Nivishtam. Atharva Veda also says, Nirukta has given Asankhyata Sahasrani Rudraha. And popularly in the Puranic literature, nowadays we know about Ekadasha Rudra, 11 Rudras. The names sometimes vary. So here are some sets, some 3-4 sets I am giving, which have the names of 11, sometimes 8 names of the Rudras. Mrigavyadha, Sharva, Nindita, Mahayajna, Aja Ekapada, Ahirbudhnya. These are all the different names. Now, there are some interesting names like Ahirbudhnya, Aja Ekapad, Mrigavyadha. We'll see sometime later, not this lecture, maybe sometime later about these names, Vrishakapi. Kaparadin, Kapalin are the common names for Shiva. And then there are 8 Rudras in Agni Purana. These were the 3 sets which are given from Skanda Purana. In Agni Purana, you have 8 Rudras, and there you have Trimurti, Ekanetra, Ekarudraksha as the names of the Rudra. As there are 10 incarnations of Vishnu, in the question answers series also, that lecture also, I did answer this, but I didn't give the names perhaps. So here are the names of the 10 incarnations of Shiva and the consort of Shiva, Parvati. So Mahakala, Parvati would be Mahakali, Tara, Tara, Bala, Bala, Shodasha, Shodashi, Bhairava, Bhairavi, Chinnamasta, Chinnamasta or Chinnamastaka, Dhumavan, Dhumavati, Bagalamukha, Bagalamukhi, Matanga, Matangi, Kamala, Kamala. Now if you just have a glance, these names are very familiar with us. We are acquainted with Chinnamasta, Bagalamukhi, Matangi, etc. But these names of Shiva, no, we haven't heard many names of Shiva. So these are the fierce forms, and Shakti forms are more popular in Ashtamatrukas, Navamatrukas, Saptamatrukas. They vary, and 64 Yoginis. So these names occur somewhere or the other in the fierce forms of Shakti. We saw in one lecture multifaceted goddesses. So in that I briefly touched upon this point, but in the Shakti force they are more popular than the Shiva force. Now after the Ekadasha Rudras of the Shiva, in the Purana we have Ekamurti Shiva, Trimurti Shiva, Panchamurti Shiva, Ashtamurti Shiva. See, so many varieties are there. For example, this is the Trimurti. This is a famous sculpture on a Gharapuri island, Elephanta island near Mumbai, Arabian Sea. So, Srishti Sthiti Layatmika Murtihi. This is Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva together. This is popularly called as Trimurti. Now here is some attempt at assimilating the different cults in which the people got divided. Shaivism, Vaishnavism, and some worshipping Prajapati, Hiranyagarbha or Brahma. So bringing them together in one form, that was what in Trimurti. Then we have something like Panchamurti. Panchamurti is again a very famous thing, and there are many stories about Panchamurti. I am not going to tell Panchamurti story today, but I will be telling few like folk tales today, which you might not have heard perhaps, and which I have been hearing right from my childhood. So, Ishana, Tatpurusha, Aghora, Vamadeva, Sadyojata. These are the 5 names. Now, these 5 names have been ascribed, have been assigned 5 different duties. For example, creation is Ishana, creation of the universe. Sthiti, maintenance, is Tatpurusha. Samhara, annihilation, is Aghora. Tirobhava, disappearance, is Vamadeva. And Anugraha, blessing you for the spiritual upliftment and spiritual bliss, ultimate bliss, that is Sadyojata, and that happens to be the ether, the Akasha Tattva, this is Vayu Tattva, this is Agni Tattva, this is Jala Tattva, and this is Prithvi Tattva. Interestingly, in India, especially in South India, we have 5 temples dedicated to each of these Mahabhutas. You search for that. That's a homework for you all. What are these 5 temples? In Tamil Nadu itself, I will give you only one clue. Chidambaram temple is the Akasha Tattva. Okay? So you can search for yourself what are the other 4 tattvas and what are the temples known as. Then we have Ashtamurti Shiva. Trimurti we saw, Panchamurti we saw, and now we have Ashtamurti Shiva having 8 forms. And here on this pillar you see 4 faces on this, the 4th is back at the back and 4 above. So this is how the Ashtamurti Shiva you find in the sculpture. And what are the names? Bhava, Sharva, Rudra, Pashupati, Ugra, Mahadeva, Bhima, Ishana. Normally for every of these, each of these names, there is a consort in the form of Parvati's name also. Bhava, it is Bhavani, and we have a famous Bhavanyashtaka, Then for Sharva, it is Sharvani, Rudra, it is Rudrani, Ugra, it is Ugra, Ishana, it is Ishana. So there are equal, 1-to-1 consorts, the prototypes of the Shakti Tattva along with the Shiva. In fact, Shankaracharya said in his famous Saundarya Lahari Stotra, when Shiva is with Shakti, he can do anything and everything. And without Shakti, he is just a Shava and not a Shiva. So there comes, everything. What is the essence of Shakti being associated with Shiva? That is the crux of the thing. Now Shiva is worshipped in the form of Linga. When did this Linga worship start? Are you curious to know? When did this Linga worship start? Now there is a story. This is a very famous story, of course, Dakshadhvara Mathana. I will be briefly referring to that. After Sati immolated herself, the story is like this, that I think the slide will come somewhere later, that Daksha was a Prajapati. He is a creator. He performed some sacrifice, but he did not invite Shiva, his son-in-law. Daksha's daughter, Sati, is wedded to Shiva, but he doesn't invite his own son-in-law. And Sati thinks, what harm is there? It's all, after all, my father's house. I can go even uninvited. So she just went. She got humiliated and she burned herself. She threw herself in the fire and all that. After that, after Sati's immolation, Shiva wandered distressed. He had lost his wife, very beloved wife. And while, in a depression, distress, agony and sorrow and pathos, he was wandering aimlessly, and he entered one vana called Daruvana, where the Saptarshis were practicing penance. But the wives of these Saptarshis, they got enticed, they got perturbed after seeing Shiva wandering around naked everywhere. And then the sages cursed him, let your Linga fall down. Linga is the phallus, the generative organ, male generative organ. So let your Linga fall down. And after that, that Linga, when it fell down, it grew in the fire column, like a column of fire. It penetrated the earth, went right up to the Patala, downwards, and it penetrated the skies and went above the heavenly world, upwards. Now there was no end to this, and the whole world, the Tribhuvana, got disturbed, perturbed, and then they all ran to Vishnu. Because Vishnu is the Sthitikarta, the maintenance, is that compartment, that department is with Vishnu. So Vishnu came there, Brahma also came hurriedly because he is the creator. And then Brahma and Vishnu requested Shiva to get back his Linga. Of course, there is another story, 5 minutes later. Now, after that, from the Linga, voice came, Yadi archayanti tridasha mama lingam surottamau. Oh gods, best of the gods, Brahma and Vishnu, both of you are here. If Tridashas are the gods. They have only Balya, Yauvana and Jara, no Mrityu. They are Amara and therefore 3 Dasha. Tisraha, Dashaha, Yesham. So, Yadi Archayanti Tridasha Mamalingam Surottamo Tadetat Pratigrihniyam Na Anyatha. If you promise that you will here onwards worship my linga, then I will take it back. Otherwise, I am not going to take it back. And then Brahma just, yes, he said, yes, by all means we will worship. And he picked up the golden linga, and this is how the linga worship started. The story comes in all the Shaivite Puranas, especially so in the Skanda Purana. This is the image. Can you see the image? This is the fiery column. Okay. In the fiery column, you see the picture of Shiva here. Here is Brahma, Hausavahana, going upwards. Okay. He is going up. And here is Vishnu with a Varaha form, Sukara Rupa, Keshavadruta Sukara Rupa, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. In Vishnu's incarnations we saw. And he goes down to see what is the end of this fiery column. So one went down, and for Vishnu going down is easy because that is his sasural. You know, I mean going to Patala, right up to the Kshira Sagara, you know, to the ocean, because that is where he got Lakshmi from, and therefore he went down. So that is the story. This is the Arunachala Linga they call, and this is also in Tamil Nadu, okay, where Ramana Maharshi has put up his ashrama, and this is a fiery column of Arunachala Linga it is called, or Jyotirlinga you may say. Now Vishnu went to Patala, returned unsuccessful. He said, oh, I am very sorry. The further I went down, I still see something down below me. I can't find the end of this linga. Howsoever down I go, still adho, there is adhaha, this lingam. So I can't find the parante antan nagachami, and therefore he came back unsuccessful. He was very honest, and therefore he came back empty-handed. Brahma, on the other hand, he went up to the heaven. He was also unsuccessful, but he thought, if I go and say, oh, I did not find the end of this, then people will feel that creation is not important at all. Brahmadeva is not important. It is all Vishnu who is important. See, this story has a different background than the other. The first slide which I showed you was, Shiva was wandering in Daruvana and the sages cursed him. Here the story account is little bit varied. Same in the Skanda Purana only. Brahma and Vishnu are fighting over mutual superiority. Who is superior? Kaha Shreshtha. Okay, they are fighting over their Shreshthatva, and then there came, Avirabhodh, what? Linga. And then from the Linga, a voice came, one who can go and reach and see the end of my Linga will be the superior. Vishnu was honest, I said. He came unsuccessful. Brahma thought this is the last opportunity to prove my sovereignty, my superiority over Vishnu. And therefore what he did was, he produced 2 fake witnesses. 2 fake witnesses he produced. Whom? He produced Kamadhenu and the Ketaki flower. Kevda in Marathi, Ketaki flower. Shiva immediately knew that this is not true. What Brahma is saying, that I saw the end, it is not true. And therefore he cursed Brahma also, Ketaki also, and Kamadhenu. All 3 of them got cursed by Shiva, and as a result of that, we don't find the temples of Brahma. Brahma is not worshipped at all in Kali Yuga, except perhaps Pushkar Kshetra in Rajasthan. We hardly have any Brahmadev temples in India. This is a type of justificatory tale. Why there are no temples of Brahmadeva? There is a story in Skanda Purana. Now the shapa, the curse for the cow was, cow will be pure except her mouth. Cow is pure all over. Even Gomutra is pure. Maya is pure, okay. Every part, every body part of cow is pure, it's sacred. But her mukha is not sacred because cow eats anything and everything. Recently we come across, certain news items that from a cow's stomach 15 kg of plastic was removed and this and that. I mean, she eats plastic as well. So she will eat anything and everything. So it's not pure. But then everybody asks for ushapa, something to pacify and lessen the burden, lessen the gravity, seriousness of the curse, okay. That is called ushapa. Shapa is a curse. Ushapa, something to pacify, give them some solace in that curse also. So the ushapa for cow was her mouth. If the flowing water, the water flows from her mouth, it will be pure, otherwise it is impure. And therefore you see, in all the river sources, wherever you go, there is a Gomukha. Ganga appears from the Gomukha. Krishna, Koina would appear from a Gomukha in Mahabaleshwar, Panchgani. I mean, every nadi, every water place, especially the rivers which are considered to be mothers by every Indian, they flow through Gomukha, and then the Gomukha becomes pure or sacred. And then there was a curse to Ketaki flower, that Ketaki will not be used at all for the worship of Shiva. Normally, Ketaki is never used to worship Shiva. What we use normally, Tagara, the easily available flowers, because Shiva temples are always on the high mountains, away from the locality, away from the urbanized areas, cultured gardens and this and that. So he won't ask for roses and this and that, He would be like Ashutosha. The very name of Shiva is Ashutosha. He is pleased very quickly. And whatever little you offer him, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, he is happy with that. But the Ushapa given to Ketaki was on Bhadrapada Shukla Tritiya. What is this day? This is the day before the Ganesha Chaturthi. The Ganapati Puja we do in Bhadrapada Shukla Chaturthi day, and this Bhadrapada Shukla Tritiya day, which is called Haritalika in Maharashtra and Karnataka, perhaps Andhra, I don't know, and which is called Jaya Parvati Vrat in Gujarat. Only on that day, Ketaki is offered to Shiva. In fact, in Gujarati language, we have for that particular Trij is Tritiya, the third day of a month. It is called Kevda Trij. Kevda Trij, that is the day when Kevda or Ketaki Pushpa is offered to Shiva. So these are like some Ushyapas. And these are also, the stories which justify why there are some customs which we follow for years together. From generations to generations, we have been following few things. Why so? So there is some story for that. Puranic vows and mantras. Now this Vedic Rudra, we have come down to the Puranas now, okay. Now in the Puranas, it is especially said that the 8th day, Ashtami, and the 14th day, which is Chaturdashi, if you remember, Shivaratri comes on Chaturdashi day, so which is Pradosha, and the Pradosha Kala, evening time, is very auspicious for Shiva. That is his favorite tithi, that is very auspicious tithi for him. So Magha Chaturdashi is called as Mahashivaratri Vrata. Okay, on Mahashivaratri Vrata, what we do? We fast the whole day. Okay, we observe the fast. We worship the Shivalinga with Bilva Patra. Okay, and we do Abhisheka continuously. These are the 3 things normally people do. Right? We also do here in Adi Shankara Nilayam, Mahashivaratri day. There are multiple types of Abhishekas like Shira Abhisheka, Dadhya Abhisheka, Madhu Abhisheka, so on and so forth. But something should be poured on continuously. Though it's simple water, it's okay. And therefore, in all the Shiva temples, we have that Ganga Jali, and drop by drop there is Abhisheka on the Lingam, because Shiva is pleased with that. Why it should be so? Simple, because Shiva is identified with Agni. He is so fiery. To appease him, every now and then, every moment, there should be some water poured on his head to calm him down, to pacify him. Okay? So now, these are the three things which we do. Here comes an interesting story. This story, I think, by Amar Chitra Katha and all, they have published this story as the story of Guru Druha. In this name, they have published it. So, Magha Chaturdashi is Mahashivaratri Vrata. Why it is celebrated like that? Shiva drank poison on that day. It is said, our Shardanand Swamiji also told us that Shiva drank poison on this day. When the Kshira Sagara Manthana was being done, the milky ocean was churned and the poison came out. The poison was drunk by Shiva and he got Nilakantha, the name. On this day it was. According to another version, he got married to Parvati on this day. Okay? Shiva got married to Parvati on this day, and therefore this has a special significance in the life of Shiva. Now here comes a story of a hunter. He is called Chanda. In the Puranas, it is Chanda. Sometimes in some Puranas, the name is stated as Gurudruha. Gurudruha, one who is not loyal to his Guru, one who betrays his Guru. Droham karoti iti Gurudruha. Now he was a hunter. Once he climbed a tree because he was being chased by a lion or a tiger. Yeah, lion. So to save himself from a lion, he just climbed a tree, unknowingly which tree it is. Incidentally, coincidentally, the tree was a bilva tree. Now he sat there. The lion is waiting down the tree. When this fellow will come down and I will gobble him up. Okay? The lion is waiting for the prey who is sitting on the branch of a tree. And this poor fellow, he is so worried, he is so frightened, he dares not come down. Ultimately, the lion goes away. But in that process, the whole day he spends there not eating a single morsel of food. On the tree there, he didn't get any because it was not like a very fruit bearing tree like a mango or a panasa, So he just had these bilva trees and some thorns here and there, they were pricking him because bilva tree has thorns, right? So what he did, like a plaything, when you go there and pluck something and just drop it down, like that he just plucked the leaves and dropped it down. Plucking the leaves, drop it down, drop it down. Incidentally, coincidentally, there was a Shiva Lingam at the root of the tree. In villages, even now you find the Shiva Lingams placed at the root of a tree. Okay? So there was a Lingam at the root of a tree. He just plucked aimlessly, without any thought in his mind. He just plucked and put the leaves there. So there was a Abhishek of Bilva. Bilva Puja was there. And because, he was hungry throughout the day, he did not get anything to eat or drink, his mouth was getting dried up. And to keep himself moist, he was spitting now and then. That spitting was as good as an Abhisheka. He observed fast, he did puja with bilva leaves, and he did Abhisheka. Three things which normally people do on a Mahashivaratri day. That was done by him. This is again a theological story, right? So, it was a simple form of worship for him, which he did unknowingly. But Shiva Ganas were pleased. Shiva was pleased with him, and Shiva sent the Ganas to him to, to bring him to Shivaloka. Shivalokam avapnoti, Shivena sahamodate. That is the Arthavada, Falashruti of the Panchakshara Stotra also, of which I recited the first verse, Nagendra Haraya. And Shiva is such a very simpleton God. He doesn't require any abhushanas, alankaras, gold and, all that stuff he doesn't require. Just a Rudrakshamala, just white flowers, Tagara flower which grow everywhere, Dattura, And Karavira, we also have here the pink colored flowers, Karavira flowers. So Shiva is pleased with that. And just Namah Shivaya you chant. You don't have to elaborately do some pujas, chant so many mantras and this and that. Only Panchakshara mantra, Namah Shivaya. You add Om to it, it becomes Shadakshara mantra, and Shiva is pleased with that. So this is a very simple story of the Gurudruha or Chanda. So in Skanda Purana, of course, there is, again, people were asking me sometimes, they do ask some questions. Why such practices are there? Where it is written? Now, normally, after doing the puja of Shivalingam, we do the pradakshina, but turn halfway reverse, okay? We don't do the complete pradakshina. The yoni, we don't cross, okay? That yoni, which is called Pithika, is not to be crossed. And the reference is in Skanda Purana. The Pithika should not be crossed. So, without references, we don't do anything. There are Puranas which give us some customs, and these customs are followed. They have come down to us, percolated down to us through traditions, and we are following these. Now, this was the story I was referring to, the famous story in Shiva's life. It is Dakshadvara Mathana. Shiva Purana, Skanda Purana, and many other Puranas has this story. It is most quoted story, and in fact, near Haridwar, there is a place called Kanakhala Tirtha, and when I had been to Haridwar for the first time, 1990, for a conference along with my professors, we visited that Kanakhala Tirtha, and there is a Yajna-kunda where Daksha performed that sacrifice. The people around, they show that this is where Daksha performed sacrifice, and this is where Sati immolated herself. And the name of Kanakhala is also very interestingly etymologized. The Vyutpatti, the derivation, Kaha, Naha, Khalaha. Who is Khala here? Nobody is Khala here. That is, after coming to such a sacred place, such a place of pilgrimage, nobody will entertain any evil thoughts in his mind. Kopi Khalaha na, iti ka na khala. That is very interesting Vyutpatti, isn't it? So Daksha Prajapati, I was telling you, he did not invite Shiva. When we talk about Daksha, on one hand, who is a Prajapati, he is a creator, and on the other hand, there is Shiva. And they are always, having a rift between each other. There is always a rift, there is always a conflict. It's so very logical for me when I think that Daksha Prajapati is a creator, and here is one who is annihilator. Shiva. Kaisa jamega in dono ka? They can't go along. They can't get along. Whatever he creates, he destroys. And therefore, Daksha doesn't like this son-in-law. Okay. And secondly, this son-in-law is not rich like Vishnu. He doesn't wear a pitambara, doesn't wear the golden alankaras and all that. He is a smashan vasa, doing bhasma lepana, sarpamala, rundamala, all, things which make you averse from a person, right? Which will make you run away from that person. And therefore, Daksha did not invite Shiva. And this is where Sati asked Shiva's permission. Shiva said, no, nothing doing. He hasn't invited. Uninvited, we should not go even to our own kith and kin. But she said, after all, it's my father's house. He must have forgotten, because Daksha had 27 daughters, okay, 27 nakshatras. So he must have forgotten, let me go, no, after all I am going to my own house. So why do I need any invitation? Let me go. Shiva said, go at your own risk, I am not coming. Then she went there all alone, and as was expected, Daksha did not entertain her at all. And on the contrary, he abused Shiva in front of others. So Sati could not take it. She loved Shiva so much that she jumped into the sacrificial fire. Okay, that is Sati's self-immolation. When Shiva came to know about it, he was so enraged. He took out one hair from his jata and just dropped it on the earth. From there, Bhairava was born. He was Kala, actual death incarnate for Daksha. He is Kala Bhairava. and that Bhairava smashed the entire sacrifice. Daksha's head was cut. But the sacrifice, once you start, it must be completed. And therefore, Daksha was given a goat's head. The story is like that. And then the sacrifice was complete. But then this story is so very famous that especially in Karnataka, in Yakshagana, this story is played. There are so many dramas and dances on this Dakshadvara Mathana and Sati's Atmadahana. So very popular story. It has come down to the folk tradition as well. Now I was telling you about that mantra from the Rigveda, right? Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityoho mukshiyama amritat. Okay? Now there one epithet is used for Shiva, Sugandhim. So there is a story behind that. What's that? There is a story. There was a demon named Pulaka. Here the spelling is etiological or a-etiological. A is sometimes, in some dictionaries, etiology starts with A. Like there are some silent letters, in English, like pneumonia and all. P, it starts with P, like that. So sometimes it starts with this. So therefore I have given this A and E both. So there was a demon named Pulaka, and Pulaka, did some tapasya. Shiva got very pleased with him, and he asked, let me have some fragrance, divine fragrance. Shiva said, after all, what he is asking, only fragrance, okay, lelo. Okay, give him the fragrance. But after getting that fragrance, this Pulaka went to all the Suraloka, Gandharvaloka, Yakshaloka and started enticing all the ladies there. All the gods, the Yakshas, the Gandharvas, they got, scared and they came back to Shiva. What have you done, Prabhu? What have you done to our wives? Because you have given that boon to Pulaka, our wives are going after him because they are, carried away by that divine fragrance. So better get rid of this Asura. And then he said, okay, and he killed him. So, he is a Ashutosha, as I said. So he gets pleased very soon. But then if required, he is an annihilator, destroyer. He has to get rid of that evil also. No? So worried gods, when I asked Shiva's help, Shiva killed Pulaka. But Pulaka asked, why don't you get my Sugandha to you? Because it has come from you to me as a boon. So I want to return that to you alone. And that mother, Mriga mother it is called, and Shiva applied to his own body as well as Parvati's body, and both enjoyed their married life. They had, they were immersed in carnal pleasures. So that is why this beautiful picture was given to me by Google Swami, and how Parvati, is, all love for Shiva, and Shiva's gesture is also lovingly looking at her, and therefore he is called Sugandhi. This is something like, when Shiva killed Gajasura, Gajasura also requested him. What he requested? You must have me with you always. And that is why he is wearing the Gaja Charma. Vastutaha Digambaraha. Really speaking, Dik eva ambaram yasya. All the directions are his vastra, are his attire. He doesn't need any other attire, any other clothing. But when Gajasura was killed, Gajasura requested Shiva, please have me on your body. And therefore, that skin of Gaja, that elephant hide from which the blood is dripping down, that is worn by Shiva. Okay? So Gaja Charmadhari, when we call him Gaja Charmadhari, it is that reference. So it is very common with Shiva that the demons whom he kills, he takes something from them as a memento, perhaps, and always cherishes that. So that is why he is called Sugandhi. So this is just a story. But see how beautifully mantra is Vedic, the story is Puranic. When we say Vedic and Puranic, these are not two sets of literature. They are in a continuous tradition. We should not separate Vedic literature on one hand and the Puranic or the Itihasa literature on the other hand. Because as Mahabharata says, Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedam Samupabrumbhayet Bibhetyalpashrutat Vedaha Mamayam Praharishyati. You always have to interpret, explain the meaning of the Vedic words on the basis of the Puranas. Otherwise, Veda will be afraid that you will misinterpret the mantra. And therefore, this is the way of interpreting the Vedic Sugandhi, that particular word, Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam, with the help of the Puranic story. Okay? So, Itihasa, Purana and Veda, they are just continuously flowing tradition for us. They should not be water compartments, like compartmentalized as this is Vedic, this is Puranic. They are in one line itself. Now this is another folk story. I used to hear it from my mother, from my grandmother, okay. And this is like Bedar Kannappan Kate. In Kannada, Bedar Kannappa. That is how we used to hear about it. The story is like this. The Mahabharata character, hero, Arjuna, he was born as Kanna, a hunter. Kanna is a name. Kannappa. Like in Kannada, we have Appa and Anna added to any name, Gundappa, Gundanna, like Kannappa. Okay. So, Kanna was the hunter. Kanna basically means eye. Kanna is eye. Okay. Now, he offered his eye when he saw Linga bleeding. There is a story. He is again a very low caste person, and he is daily offering his worship, on a lingam there, in a very remote place. All the Shiva temples are normally in a remote places on high hills and all that. So he is offering his puja every day. Now one day he saw that the lingam which he is worshipping every day, from one eye blood is oozing out. Blood is coming out. He felt so sad. Oh my Shiva, what happened to my Shiva? There was so much love, so much bhakti, devotion in him, that he said, let me put my eye to stop that bleeding. And therefore, he plucked, one eye, he cut his one eye with a sword and placed it on the Shiva Lingam. And he was very happy. The blood started, the blood flows stopped, But he sees that from the other eye, the blood is coming out now. That eye, the blood has stopped. But the other eye has started bleeding now. So he felt so sad. He said, let me offer my other eye also. Shiva should not be bleeding. Shiva should not be crying. What of me? I am a very mamuli, very ordinary person. If I die, if I go blind, nobody is bothered. But if Shiva is, bleeding like this, how will the world be taken care of? So let me offer my second eye also. But now if he cuts his second eye, removes it, how will he find where to place it? And therefore with his one toe of his foot, he placed that toe on the eye, the place, where he has to keep that eye. Okay. One eye he has already placed. See, his left hand, one eye he has already placed. And the other eye he wants to cut and place it here. To locate that, he has marked that with his toe. And he cuts it and places it. Naturally, Shiva is pleased. Shiva won't allow anybody like that, just to go blind for him. So, Shiva made him one of the 63 Nayanmars. This is again a very interesting, I think, turn or twist in the story. Traditionally, there are 63 Nayanmars, the Shaiva Santas. As we have the Alvars, the 12 Alvars of the Vaishnavas, similarly you have 63 Nayanmars, and this Kanna became one of the 63 Nayanmars. So he attained as good a position as a Gana of Shiva, So that was the status. This is a folk story. This you won't find in any Puranas and all. This is a folk story which has come down to us by tradition. This is Kannada, Telugu, movie also is there, and I think a famous actor called Rajkumar has done the role of this Bedar Kannappa. Okay, if I remember right, you can search it, Google Swami will tell you. So this is Bedar Kannappa, movies and dramas, and Kannada and Telugu also. Kannada, of course, I heard it in Kannada. So this is the story of Bedar Kannappa. Now we come to another very interesting thing, and again I will take you back to my childhood memories, in this, not this picture. This picture, what you see, this is Shiva carrying Kartikeya in his hand. You see, a father carrying his child in his lap, on his shoulder, like that, as if they are going to a movie, as if they are going to some jatra, okay, some yatra, some fair. So he is going with one child, and here is their famous white bull, Nandi. Parvati is seated on that with another child in her lap, Ganesha. See, this is Ganesha. Such a beautiful picture, no? After looking at this picture, what we will feel? This is a perfect family portrait. Husband and wife. Husband is so caring. He is not mounting the car. Okay? Their car, their vehicle, Nandi. Nandi is serving Parvati. One child is with her, another child he is carrying, and he is looking back, whether they don't have any problem. Are they comfortable? Is she comfortably seated? There is no problem with her. How caring a husband, how caring a father Shiva is. There are many Sanskrit verses on this family life of Shiva. I'll take you some of these. I think one or two I did in the OLA Subhashita classes. I did one or two, but very nice Subhashitas we have. Now the Vedic Rudra, we started. This is, I think, perhaps the last slide. So from Rigveda, I told you, I'll take you on a journey from Vedas to Puranas to folk. Okay? So from Rigvedic Rudra, glorified in Yajurveda, Vajasaneyi Samvita as the highest deity. Then from Rudradhyaya, Shatarudriya, we came to Puranic Shiva. So many Puranas, Skanda Purana, Shiva Purana, Vayu Purana, like so many Puranas are there. And retaining the fearful aspect only in the Laya. Rudra had that fearful aspect that is retained only in the Laya form. Okay, otherwise Shiva is very pleasing God and very Ashutosha-like, And then a perfect divine couple of Shiva Parvati with two kids, very closer to humans. How close, how close. My mother used to tell me a story. I think I'll put this, this is a folk literature, depicts them both as compassionate gods. In rural Karnataka, Bhadrapada New Moon Day, Nagar Amashi we call, because Naga Panchami comes on the Shravana Shuddha Panchami, 5th day of Shravana month. Before that, it is Bhadrapada, and Bhadrapada, not Bhadrapada, it should be Ashada. Ashada Amashi, not Bhadrapada. Bhadrapada comes after Shravana. So Ashada new moon, Ashada Amashi, is called Nagar Amashi, and that day there is a Bagala Bhandara or Bhandara Gadabu. I have written it in Kannada. Why? Because it's a Karnataka's story my mother used to say. On this Amavasya day, before the Naga Panchami, there is a custom that you make, of wheat flour, you make some 2 small puris, little larger, little bigger than a rupee coin. Okay. In olden days, we had such a big rupee coin. Okay. Little bigger than that. You make 2 puri like thing. Okay. You put 1 rupee coin and some steamed kadle bele, the chana dal. Okay. 2-3 grains of that into that. Then 2 puris, you just, stitch them. Stitch them means just seal them with your thumb, steam them in water. Okay, steam them in water. And then you put it on the threshold of the main door from where you enter, Hasla, that is the threshold. Okay, so on that you place it, and the sister calls the brother, and that is called Bhandara Gadabu. Kadubu is something in which something is filled, that is called Kadubu. Here also there is something which is filling there, And Bhandara and Kadabu, it becomes a samasa, it is Bhandara Gadabu. Okay. So that Bhandara Gadabu, that sister calls the brother has to come and just break it with his fist. It's soft, no? It's steamed, cooked one, soft one. He just breaks it with his fist, and that rupee coin he gives to the sister. And then those grains, chana dal, that also he gives her to eat. It's bland. There is nothing, no namak, no salt, nothing is there. But he just, why that is put, I don't know. But then interestingly, the sister asks him, henna beko, honna beko. Do you want a girl, henna, my daughter, for your wife, or honna, money? What do you want? And then the brother thinks and says, honna beda, henna beko. I don't want money. I want your daughter. In Karnataka, it was very customary for a girl to marry her mama, mother's brother. Okay? It's very, very customary. I mean, very, very, even now, my grandmother, my mother's mother used to call me, Nin Swashi Madkotini. I will make you my daughter-in-law. And I said, no, I'm not going to marry my mama. So that is the thing. So, henna beko, honna beko, and then the brother will say, honna beda, henna beko, and this is how the ceremony gets over. Now, one day, Shiva Parvati, in the folk literature, they are such a compassionate pair. They roam around in the Vimana, and whosoever crying, whosoever is in distress, they will go down and remove the distress of the people. Now, one lady was crying, and besides a river, and Parvati was so compassionate, Mridani after all. He is also Mrida. They both came down and asked her, and she said, I don't have a brother, and today is Bagala Bhandara Divasa, Bhandara Kadabu Vadibeku. I don't have a brother, so who will do that for me? And Shiva did it for her. So this is what is the concept of Shiva in the folk literature. So I think I would stop here, because I started with remembering my father, and I will end here, with the same Karnataka link. And this particular, I did it in my childhood. I do remember having done it till I think 9th, 10th standard or 11th standard. Then I think when we came to Mumbai after Panvel, I think it was lost sight of. But I asked my mommy, my bigger mommy, elder mommy, who is 90 almost, in a Bigeri, my native place, my birth village, and her daughter-in-law Sunita, they were helpful in giving me all this information. So let me stop here. So this is how the story is, from the Vedic Rudra to the Puranic Shiva to the folk literature Shiva Parvati couple, who are so very compassionate. So may that Lord Shiva and Shiva shower their blessings on all of you, all of us, the entire world, and make this world corona free. So we'll just end with a small Shanti mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.